Hello, everyone. We are back. Sorry for the long intro. I had to set up a couple things and send out a couple tweets. But we are here today with our part 2 of the Ace novel read through. Now, a couple things we got to go over. First and foremost, I can't find my headphones. So, give me 1 second and I'll put on my headphones to make this a little bit more audible for you guys. So bear with me. Where is Bingo? Found them. And let's use these like so. Bingo. And now we are officially connected. So, on to the topic at hand. A couple things we got to go over. First thing is our first couple videos were taken down because I might have been doing some apparently inexcusable things, which Twitch deemed unworthy, and they subsequently deleted the video. So it is what it is on that front. Can't change anything, just got to deal with it. What we do have is now an understanding of how everything works. So that is a plus. On the more positive note is that I now know how to go around the whole deal in order to get everything to work to properly function. So with that being said, let's continue with the reason why everybody's here. First things first is this is chapter 3 of the Ace novel. We are currently, this is after Ace has had a run-in with the world government, and they were going about asking him to be a warlord, and he denied their offer. We found out that Jinbei and Whitebeard were talking about it over, well, not over, but while Jinbei was leaving to go out to have a meeting with the world government, seeing as how he's a representative for Fishman Island. And the end result is Whitebeard saying, have a good time, or see you soon, or something like that. And, we're picking up now. So, here we go. Chapter 3. On the main part of Fishman Island was a residential district made up of coral and stacked up like the inside of a beehive. The upper levels were more expensive, with plenty of sunlight. The neighborhood of the wealthy, Fishverley Hills. Down below, the commoners' homes were concentrated for greater density, and near the bottom, at a restaurant that was far from fancy, a small uproar was underway. What's up with him? He fell asleep in the middle of eating. The customers whispered and murmured among themselves, glancing occasionally at the counter, specifically at a young human guest. Despite the sunlight, Fishman Island was still 10,000 meters under the sea, and the surrounding water temperature was quite cold, yet the man was only wearing shorts, a hat, and no shirt. It was more common to see human visitors dressed as though they were visiting a winter island. There was also a tattoo on his arm. That wasn't rare. The vast majority of human visitors to visit Fishman Island, after all, were pirates. The young human appeared to have plunged face first into the large plate of fish before him on the counter. In each hand was a fork with a morsel of meat stuck on the end. He was as still as the dead. Sir? Inquired a waitress. Wah! Ah! He bolted upright suddenly, looking around in utter bewilderment. He spotted the waitress and for reasons only he could explain, used her apron to wipe his face. Eek. Ace, dude, what the hell? What kind of fishman are you, miss? The freckled, mischievous, young-looking man said, leaning in close. The waitress wasn't entirely sure how to react. Eel? With a heart? In that case, miss, I'll have some more eel pie and a mug of the bubbly stuff. Eek, the eel fishman waitress shrieked, wriggling her way back to the kitchen. I mean, I find it a little odd that he would actually ask her what she is and then choose to eat that. Like, what? I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like some type of sexual innuendo or if it's just all right. That was all right. Phew. Oh man, said the young man, scratching his head. I passed out for a minute. It was at that point that he realized he was the center of attention of all the other diners. Why did he pass out mid-bite? What kind of disorder does he have? Sorry for disturbing your meal, folks, he apologized and resumed gobbling down his food. The very odd man with a purely timed curiosity confused the other guests, but they seemed willing to let it go and turned back to their conversations at their own tables. Passing out while you eat? What's that all about? The young man raised his head. A plate of eel pie was before him, but it hadn't come from the waitress. It came from a fierce-looking man with his long hair tied up in the back. So I got a ship, right? Hold on, wait, that's mad gangster. So I got a ship, right? There are tough guys on board, smart guys on board, but there's one thing we're missing. What's that? We don't have a cook. So when I get to eat at a delicious place like this, my heart passes out from joy. Gee, thanks. What kind of fishman are you, mister? I'm a goat's beard what the fuck? I don't even want to destroy the pronunciation on this, but I'm just gonna guess and say Bartula? Merman, actually. And before you ask, we're out of Bartula today. So he literally has been trying to taste what these people, yo, I don't know how disrespectful that is, yo. That's wild. Yo, Ace as a character, yo. Wow, what a very disrespectful guy. Okay. That's all right, that's new. Oh wow, I just noticed we got 2 viewers. Hey guys, what's going on? In case you're just tuning in, this is chapter 3 of the Ace book. The Ace light novel, as it's referred to. This is the one with Blackbeard on the cover. Let me see if I can give you guys a quick look at what it looks like. Remember to purchase this. This book is worth it. It's definitely worth it. Just purchase it. Support the authors. Support the original author. That's what it's about, you know? But yes, let's get back to it. Excuse me, this gas is killing me. Side note, this is called Jesse's Girl. Yeah, definitely got that word. But back to it. Whew. Oh man, said the young fisherman, scratching his head. Passed out for a minute. Well, past that. Oh yes. Okay. Murmured the young man, popping the fresh baked pie. Dude. Which featured several eel heads directly into his mouth. That's all right. Indeed, the merman's lower half ended in fishy fins. You're a bold young pirate to be here all alone, said the goat's beard Bartula merman from across the counter. Oh yeah? Hey, this is tasty. Haven't you heard about the recent attacks at Fishman Island? Happens to human pirates and even some fishermen who cooperate with humans. Sounds violent. Yeah, this is some good eel. Hey, listen to me. So who's attacking who? The young man asked as he ate. It started years ago. Queen Otohime of Ryogu Kingdom lost her life, explained the merman, wiping a glass with a rag. He described how, until about 200 years ago, fishmen and mermen were classified as fish by humans. That was when the Ryogu Kingdom was finally allowed to join the world government and attend the Reverie, the meeting of the world leaders. But the humans continued to despise the fishermen, and naturally the fishermen did not take kindly to the humans either. Queen Otohime spoke passionately about coexisting with the humans and gathered signatures for her petition. I don't know why I just read that like that. Let's run that back. Queen Otohime spoke passionately about coexisting with the humans and gathered signatures for her petition. Queen Otohime really wanted us to find harmony with you humans, but someone who didn't take kindly to that idea assassinated her. Ah. The young man glanced at the wall. There was a wanted poster here, but not the bounty posters that the world government and the Navy sent out. This one was only for within the Ryogu Kingdom. The wanted man's name was Vander Decken. And that guy did it? The young man asked, pointing to the poster. No, he's a different case. There was a legend of the sea passed down by many a sailor. One stormy day, a pirate captain went mad and hurled his crew overboard, drowning them. God was furious about the captain's actions and sentenced him to an eternal torment, doomed to wander the sea forever. It goes as such. Dead men's fingers have no need for jewels. The darkness hides even their regrets. Find it, find it. The sunken treasure is mine for the taking. I'm the richest man in the world, Captain Vanderdecken. It was the tale of a famous ghost ship that wandered the seafloor, known as the Flying Dutchman. Whatever generation of Vanderdecken we're on now, in any case, he's a pirate fisherman who ate a devil fruit. Who ever heard of doing such a thing? Devil fruits were thought of as personifications of the devils of the sea. Anyone who took a bite of one would gain strange and mighty powers, able to transform into powerful beasts and birds, or turn their bodies into blades or bombs, or even become natural phenomena like fire and ice. A devil fruit, huh? There was one major cost, a curse the devil fruit conferred. In exchange for its power, the person who possessed that power became an enemy of the sea. Not only did their powers no longer function if they fell into the sea, but they lost even the strength to swim or float on their own. See, now, this is kind of a problem because it brings in a continuity issue. Because, as we know, people who have passive devil fruit abilities, such as Luffy, for example, he's always rubber. He doesn't make his arm rubber. He naturally has the properties of rubber. So that statement isn't all too true. But I digress. Something funny about that? You gotta admit, a fishman who can't swim is pretty funny, the young man said, snorting at the one pirate named Vanderdecken. The late Queen Otohime had 3 sons and 1 daughter. And would you believe it? That shameless Vanderdecken asked the daughter, Princess Shirahoshi, to marry him. Whoa, is it a crime to ask someone to marry you here? It is if you're an undesirable stalker. He keeps trying to coerce her into accepting his request. Long story short, the fisherman pirate Vanderdecken, the somethingeth? What? Okay, I can't even make this up. Like, it literally says the somethingeth, whatever. A man who couldn't swim was using his devil fruit powers to threaten the princess, to threaten, why would they put the Princess Shirahoshi? All right, whatever. To threaten the Princess Shirahoshi and the Ryogu royal family in order to shelter from his powers attacks. She'd been forced into hiding for years in a place called Shell Tower. Sounds violent. These are the times we live in. What's the king doing then? He's got to be pretty tough if he's the king, right? Can't he keep his own daughters safe? Eh? If he can't, sounds like he could be at an imminent risk of a coup d'etat, observed the young man, taking another sip of his drink. Watch what you say around here, youngster. The bartender stopped wiping his glass. Sorry, my bad. I'm a pirate, an outsider. Doesn't matter to me what happens in places. I'm just passing through, said the young man, chowing down on the eel heads from his pie. He had an appetite as ravenous as flames licking across grasslands in a drought. Ironic that they would choose that. It's a wonderful play on words. You mentioned a coup. That's not going to happen. There are 2 men who would quickly attend to any such attempts. 2, said the young man. His voice perked with interest for the first time at what the merman had to say. Obviously because Ace just found an interesting opponent. He was about 6 feet tall in his late teens. His freckled face and lithe figure still had a boyish look, but it was clear he was not one to be taken lightly. A man you humans call Jinbei, first son of the sea. He works as one of the 7 warlords. 7 warlords? Yeah, you just turned down that offer, huh? Anyway, speaking of which, they were talking about some wild rookie who just turned down an offer to join that group. That's hilarious. Anyway, the only reason Jinbei's there is because of the Sun Pirates, a group started by the abolitionist hero Fisher Tiger, who... I'm not interested in the past. The young man lifted his glass and held it across the counter for more. That's just so disrespectful, bro. That, like, Ace ain't have no manners, son. Like, bro, come on, son. Wow. All right, whatever. The Bartula merman filled it from the barrel behind him, glaring. And who's the other one? Who's really ruling Fishman Island? The king? A warlord? Asked the young man, gazing at the fresh suds on the refilled mug. Eduardo Newgate. That was a name that carried weight. Fishman Island is in the territory of Whitebeard, Emperor of the Sea. King Neptune's an old friend of Whitebeard's, so there won't be any coups here. The customers of the restaurant began to murmur amongst themselves. Did you see the Whitebeard pirate flag hanging over the harbor? I'll never forget that day. He just said the word, and suddenly messing with Fishman Island was off limits. Whitebeard protects this island with his flag and his name. We trust Whitebeard the pirate more than we do the world government. Emboldened by their drinks, the Fishman customers continued to praise his name. The goat's beard Bartula merman spoke about the day that Edward Newgate arrived. It was not long after the start of the great age of piracy when Fishman Island found itself ravaged by a storm of pirates. On a side note, this actually confirms just what people were saying in regards to the lost. Okay, so if you're anime only, let me stop now and say this. I'm going to be talking about manga events. So, well, actually, no, the anime's caught up to this point now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so Roger already went there. So with that being said, we know that the fourth road poneglyph was at Fishman Island. It's not there now because we've left Fishman Island without seeing said road poneglyph. Therefore, when did it move? Apparently, when Whitebeard first took over, when Roger died, which makes so much more sense now. I mean, granted, I'm not sure if this is going to be taken as canon, but, you know, one can only hope. Give me 1 second. Let's get a swig. Okay, some good water right there. And so we begin. I owe Neptune from our younger days, said Whitebeard, placing his flag over Fishman Island in honor of his connection to their king, with whom he'd shared drinks and friendship. The other pirates were stunned. They'd been enjoying all the pillaging they wanted, and here he was, the world's strongest pirate. Why is he here on the Fishman side? Quit ransacking my friend's kingdom, you snot-nosed punks. I declare Fishman Island to be my territory. With that simple statement, Fishman Island was safe at last. No pirate who visited would dare engaging in kidnapping or pillaging. They could only be peaceful visitors, paying proper respect to Whitebeard as the code of honor demanded. Whitebeard, huh? The young man tilted back his mug and drained the rest of his drink. It was almost as though he meant to drink down Whitebeard by himself. I read that wrong. Let's run that back. It was almost as though he meant to drink down Whitebeard himself. Whew. Thanks for the meal. The young man slammed his mug down on the counter and stood up. What's your name, young man? Called out the Bartula merman. The man turned back and gave him a brief glance. I'm just a wild rookie. The one from your story, in fact. Silence. I'm Portgas the Ace. Even here at the bottom of the sea, you're going to be hearing my name a lot, whether you want to or not. The restaurant was completely silent. Ace? Said the merman. What's the deal with that tattoo, then? He pointed at the young man's left arm. The tattoo there read, Ace, but with the S crossed out. Was it possible that a person could get their own name as a tattoo and spell it wrong? Portgas the Ace just smiled as if to say, don't ask stupid questions. He left the restaurant without another word. The customers looked to the Bartula merman stunned. Aladdin. Ace was talking to Aladdin this entire time. I should have Googled what a Bartula merman would look like. I don't know. Whatever. But I feel like this is so much more worth it because it's like it was so unexpected because I never knew what he was, what type of merman / fishman he was. That's crazy. The customers looked at the Bartula merman stunned. Aladdin. It's hard to get a read on him. Is he really so bold or ignorant or just plain stupid? There wasn't a pirate alive who wouldn't shiver at the mention of the name Whitebeard, especially not a rookie. Everyone with a bounty of 9 digits making his way through Fishman Island to the New World wouldn't be foolish enough to cause trouble in Whitebeard's territory. The merman Aladdin, a member of the Fishman pirate crew, just crossed his arms and frowned. Now what shall I tell Jinbei? Ah! The eel waitress gasped. What's wrong? That customer just left without paying. What? Yeah, that actually makes sense. That's definitely an Ace thing. That's like, yeah, not surprised at all. It runs in their blood. Granted, not biological, but you get it. Wow, that was intense. Bear with me. I just gotta light this up because that was deep. That was deep. Okay, chapter 4. There was an old law among fishmen that they would never share their blood with humans. That meant no transfusions. It was usually the way. Let's run that back. That meant no transfusions, period. It was usually humans who shunned the idea of fishman blood anyway. The hero Fisher Tiger died because no human would give their blood to save him, it was said. Which we know to be not true. As it happened, a secret syndicate was operating in the shadows of Fishman Island. They targeted not only humans, but also the fishmen who dared to work with them. Upon the surface, human shops were slaves. Wow. Where slaves were bought and sold were common targets of the terrorist activities. That's what I'm talking about. And when the shop went up in smoke, so did all. Oh, let's run that back. Were the targets of terrorist activities, and fairly solid evidence indicated that this secret society was behind those attacks too. And when the shop went up in smoke, so did all the humans. Praise the hero, raise a toast, serve those humans right. Serve those humans right. In the Fishman district, children like Wallace grew up hearing the adults around them praise those who carried out the terrorist acts. Performing terrorist acts made you a hero. It was almost as though they were competing to see just how much human blood they could shed. This is a holy war. It was at the height of this movement that Queen Otohime, who argued for the harmony with humankind, was assassinated. Whitebeard's flag might have protected Fishman Island people from pirates, but in the end, it only obscured the problems the fishmen were dealing with amongst themselves. The sun's so far from this place, Ace murmured, looking up at the tremendous height of the sun-tree Eve. He didn't have connections to the places he passed through, and he wouldn't get involved. However, he knew that no matter how hard the fishmen tried to avoid facing the twisted hatred they harbored within themselves, and no matter how dutifully the Queen had collected signatures in an attempt to paper over the crude reality of the situation, this would come to no good. Hatred dulls the eyes of those infected by it, and it warps their hearts before they realize what has happened. Queen Otohime was killed by the personification of hatred that dwelt in Fishman Island for generations upon generations. The humans were not the only enemy the fishmen had. They were also their own enemies. At the harbor of the Fishman Island, Deuce has gone to procure some supplies, said Mihal, the ship watchman. When Ace returned to the piece of spadale, I still have a problem saying this. Like, I don't know why this word is just killing me, killing me. But okay, so it's spelled Spadille. So if anybody wants to take a shot, write that down. Spadille. I'm gonna guess Spadil. That's just me being a linguistic interested individual, so that's that. Mihal had an unusual past for a pirate. He was a former teacher. As he was the eldest, the other crewmates called him Teach. And he taught those who couldn't even read a newspaper headline how to read and write. He was also a crack shot with a rifle. That guy's always in a hurry. Of course he can't do anything unless he's thoroughly prepared for it, Ace chuckled. Maz Deuce was the kind of person who felt the need to gather water, reserve food supplies, and make a sturdy ship. And even check the weather ahead of time before he tried to get himself off a deserted island in distant seas, referencing back to when they first left. And you take too much of your fate into your own hands when you go, Ace. You think so? Well, if you average us out, we're just about right then. Where are the others? Learning lessons of adulthood at the Mermaid Cafe. Oh, they went there? Why didn't they invite me? Ace griped. They said that it wouldn't be any fun if the captain was there. Hold up. They said that it wouldn't be any fun if their captain was there and hogged all the attention for himself. Though Skull is trying to figure out the Navy's next moves. The Navy? Information tends to disperse here at Fishman Island. It's not like that the world government will sit idly by and allow a rookie who refused to join the Seven Warlords to pass through without comment. Ugh. That whole thing is such a pain, Ace sighed, spitting out the toothpick he'd been chewing. The 5 elders had summoned Ace to join the 7 warlords at Sabori Archipelago, but he'd refused, and sure it's possible that he'd demolished a Navy officer in the process. See, I don't like the way they saying that, because he didn't just demolish him. Like, it wasn't... He barely made it out alive, bro. he definitely barely made it out alive at that moment. Like, that was actually when he first unlocked his armament hockey. And unfortunately, he never tried to further it by, I guess, training, but it is what it is. The officer was all talk, a vice admiral for show, but the higher ups at the Navy didn't like having their dignity sullied like that. Something pounced onto the deck. It was an animal, a cat, a rare species of lynx the size of a full-grown panther. In its jaws was a bloodied, grotesque-looking deep fish. Grrr. Meow. Hey, Kotatsu. Looks like you got yourself a treat. Ace scratched the neck of the fish-bearing wildcat named Kotatsu, who sidled up to him. The giant cat purred contentedly. Either he'd found the fish at the harbor or gotten it from one of the fishers, since it was unlikely to sell. Ace had picked up Kotatsu during his travels. The cat had been caught in a trap set by poachers looking for sideshow creatures, and Ace rescued him. Because of that, he was wary around people, but was very protective of Ace. When it got cold, he always came looking for Ace and wouldn't leave his side. Looks like we've got our dinner for tonight, said Mihao, peering at the deep-sea fish in Kotatsu's jaws. Her special pirate stew, huh? Yep. Speaking of which, how's the cook search going? Are we putting out the call? We gotta do something about the Spade Pirate's biggest weakness. Weakness? Yes, the food is terrible, Mihal wiped his glass. You'd be hard-pressed to call her pirate stew food. They were referring to Banshee, a genial and masculine-looking pirate. Without a cook on the ship, she had no choice but to take over for the cooking. All she knew how to do was boil or roast or serve food raw, with no seasoning beyond a dash of salt. Just between me and you, I ate better when I was with the bandits, said Ace, recalling his childhood on Mount Corvo. Hey, yo, we talking about the Don and them niggas. That's hilarious. That's actually funny as hell. Oh man. Yes, okay, so there are limited options for cooking at sea, and we're a group of men with no domestic skills. Plus, it's not as though she's our mother, and if you complain, she'll cave in your head with her iron ladle. Sorry, man. We always appreciate your cooking, said Ace, apologizing to the woman who wasn't there. A voice called up from below, and he leaned in over the side railing. Down on the pier was a scowling Deuce. Skull was with him, too. Where were you wandering around, Ace? I was getting food, that's all. Ace hopped onto the pier. Well, fine. Once we load up the supplies, we should set sail. Wait, I haven't been to the Mermaid Cafe yet. You don't have to. Deuce grabbed the neck of Ace's collar before he could sneak off. Wallace had already gone to the Mermaid Cafe to summon up all the idiots back to the ship. Come on, a little more time wouldn't hurt. I want to see the mermaids too. You see a mermaid all the time. Come on, The Navy's on the move. We're being pursued. Really? Really. Deuce held out a piece of paper. Dead or alive, Port is the Ace. It was a Navy wanted poster, the latest version. 1, 10, 100,000. You're over 100 million. It's gone up. The world government won't show mercy to anyone who dares refuse their warlord offer and shows them up. A bounty amount did not always correspond directly to combat strength. According to some, it was a measure of danger posed to the world government. Therefore, pirates active on the Grand Line tended to have higher bounties than those in remote regions. And defying the government or inflicting harm on celestial dragons meant retribution in the form of significantly higher bounties as a deterrent to others. Haha, it's not funny, Deuce said, scowling harder. Really? I think this is fun. Yeah, of course you do. That's what you're like, Deuce said, realizing it was pointless to explain. The two met on the deadly lost island of Sixus in the East Blue and escaped from there together. Ace and Deuce formed the Spade Pirates and had taken the crew this far already. The captain's bounty was a reflection of that, an appraisal of all they'd done together. He'd done enough of making a name for himself as a rookie. Excuse me. The time for standing out was over. From this point on, the crew would have to keep winning and surviving in the new world, on the sea where only the real pirates stuck around. Deuce was worried. Of all his preparations were the result of his own sense of anxiety. That's a little deep, not even gonna lie. Oh, we gotta follow Black Excellency. What's going on? He pulled up for your boy. That's what I'm talking about. But Ace didn't have worries like that. He had no fear of being eaten up and spat out. He shone and burned as reliably as the sun did every single day. That was why for Deuce and for everyone else, Ace was... huh? Deuce stammered. Ace was looking up at the flag that flew large and proud over Fishman Island Harbor. The Jolly Roger of Whitebeard. I declare Fishman Island to be my territory, and Edward Newgate, Emperor of the Sea. Let's run that back, because Google want to pick up shit. I declare Fishman Island to be my territory, said Edward Newgate, Emperor of the Sea. And with that one statement, he kept the pirates away from the island. His pirate flag represented his promise. And without fear, Ace reached up for that flag. Don't, you idiot, Deuce hissed at him. Don't go picking fights for no reason. Why would you make us more enemies? If you can't keep up, you can stay behind. Stay here and chase mermaids. I won't turn away anyone who wants to be here. I've taken on those who aren't even pirates. But what we're facing, it's a voyage to reach the pinnacle of piratehood. I can only use those people with the will to fight. Who fights for no reason? If we can't surpass the Fur Emperors, why aim for the top at all? A small flame appeared in Ace's palm. That was a power granted by his devil fruit, the Logia-type flame fruit. The fact that he'd bitten into that fruit meant he could turn himself into a flame. Fine, I get it. But still, Ace, don't. Boss, if you burn that flag, there are more than a dozen commanders in the Whitebeard pirates with dozens of other crews under them who will all want to destroy us forever, warned Deuce and Skull. Wait, Whitebeard has that many people under him? Ace said. His entire force numbers in the tens of thousands. So that's the top, huh? Fire wreathed Ace's form. Huh. Guessing it waned. It's an odd word to use. I'm gonna raise my flag, the flag of the Spade Pirates that will carry my own renown up with it. Okay, whatever. This is the new world. It caught fire. Flame engulfed the flag bearing Whitebeard's Jolly Roger. Just then, Wallace returned with the rest of the gang. They saw their captain turning to fire. Many different expressions adorned their faces, but none of them were quaking with fear. Sheesh, why would you make things harder for yourself like this? They needed to set sail again before the scene got any more out of control, Deuce realized. He started giving orders to the crew. What's the first thing we do in the New World? Skull asked the captain. We'll need to pay our respects. I know you, Ace. You're going to pop him off in the mouth to make a name for yourself, aren't you? Will you do me a favor, Skull? Help me make it so that these 4 emperors, these people who think they're so high and mighty in the securities of their titles, can never ignore my name again. Skull saw the ambition burning behind the captain's word like the flame he embodied and nodded quietly. Then let's sail to the New World. With the burning flag, they would hoist the name of Port Gisti Ace for fame. There was twisted hatred in Ace's words. I'm sorry, I'm high as hell. There was twisted hatred in Ace's heart toward the man who was executed as the world's greatest and most infamous criminal, Gol D. Roger. It was a wordless rebellion against the father he'd never met, a figure whose absence tormented him. Inside him were ugly, messy things he didn't want to remember, things to give to the fire, to turn into ash, with his hands as the flames. Ace strove to become even more famous than the king of the pirates. He wanted enough fame to flip the history books to a new age, enough to lead a world revolution, to do great things. Because if he didn't achieve this, Ace knew that his deep-rooted hatred for his father and for the world at large would kill him. I will live without regrets. He swore it with the tattoo on his left arm, and he could never let himself be contained. Damn, that's deep. Oh, I'm looking at the next page. It says chapter 2, so I guess when we started, that was section 3 of chapter 1. Now we're about to be on chapter 2. So we will save chapter 2 for next time because I am starving and I have to finish this blunt. So I will see you all next time. Later.